Right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. We are taking another look at the weed sector today, looking at Tilray and ACB. Clearly a good couple days here, all right? And I feel like it's been a really long time since we've seen a nice little string like this. Just kind of looking at it, it's actually been pretty much since January, really, right? So definitely some nice feelings, I'm sure. But look, if you've seen my videos before, I think you might know where I'm already going to go with this. But I don't see enough just yet. You know what I mean? I get things look nice. I definitely see that we're over the 8. There's some happiness to be had, right? Good volume too, but again, is it enough for me to actually believe that this trend is changing? I don't think so. And I'll talk about the details shortly, right? But real quick, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We're going to take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how things are setting up. We have our 5 moving averages. There's only a couple on the screen, but we do have 2 horizontal support and resistance lines. And then when we're done up here, we will use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please like and subscribe, it does really well with the YouTube algorithms. But even if you don't, just thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it, okay? And then, hey, if you disagree with any of my opinions, please throw them in the comments, okay? I am not here pretending I know everything. I do not have a crystal ball telling me what Monday's going to look like, right? So if your opinions are better than mine, I actually would love to hear them, and you might help some viewers that read those things too, right? So cool. Yeah, with all that, let's get into the details. And look, again, I'm not trying to take away from this 3 days. Like it's been a good couple days for Tilray. That's a beautiful thing, right? Again, no one likes living in this like downtrend. Oh, we're lagging a little bit. Sorry, but this thing's been lagging for a little bit. And really, what happened last week on our video was we fell into all-time lows. It's a little easier to see it on the weekly, right? But yeah, there was nothing lower than our line right there, right? And it's a scary place to fall. I'm really glad that we at least kind of caught ourselves, right? But look, ultimately, what am I seeing? I'm seeing a stock that's doing its best to just hold on to that last support. You know what I mean? And hey, maybe it'll get a good little bit of a run, right? And we'll talk about the possibilities of how high this could go, but ultimately, am I a believer that this is a change in the trend? I'm not. I don't think I saw enough in the news. I definitely don't see enough in the lines here. And you know, it's just, I think hopefully we'll oscillate, and maybe some of the oscillations will be a little bit higher than others, right? But ultimately, I think this 261 line is just doing the best it can. And look, it's a strong line. It's definitely the place where this bad boy bounced. It like this one also came. I mean, these are strong lines that have made important moves. They're also lining up really well with our moving averages. I can just see these two literally doing all they can before this thing honestly falls deeper into the 2s. By deeper, I mean lower. And then, hey, you don't want to talk about the 1s either, right? So looking at the weekly, I think the weekly is really where I'm going to gauge my max line here. And I think this 288, excuse me, might be a realistic target. Maybe it can go as high as, let's call it 325, 320, give or take, right? Because you can see the 20 is around 323 right there, right? But I think 288 and 320, 325 are probably the hopeful targets up, okay? From there, do I sincerely think we're going to break this 20 moving average? This 20 moving average that has literally been plaguing us since, back here? I don't. I just, maybe by the time we get up here, the charts in the news look a little different, and hey, it's been maybe like a week or two. Like, I don't know how long it'll take for us to get here, right? But, you know, man, I'm not even sure we're going to break 288 if you really want to know the truth. I love this red right here on the weekly. You know I love this red right here on the daily. That should hopefully take us to like this plateau, which kind of lines up with that 288, right? What's this 50 actually at? A little higher. Yeah, I think this right here around 280 is actually going to be the little tighter. Obviously 290 and 280 is stunk thrown away, right? But Yeah, from there, look, there's a little bit of noise and another ladder, right? That might take us again to that 320, 330 range right here, right? That this thing's kind of saying. But yeah, maybe there's a little bit of a run that brings us here. And look, let's be honest. If this bad boy actually moves from the 260 all the way to 330, hey, that's a beautiful return, right? So I am by no means trying to undersell that. And I think if this thing can actually break the 20, if this thing can get over this 260, 270 line, right? I'm going to go ahead and draw this 280 line. Should be somewhere around there. Yeah, perfect. Again, I'm not looking for perfection here, right? But these are definitely important lines, right? Maybe the safest thing to do would be 290 all the way to like 325. I'm trying to do the math as I say that in my head, right? But look, 30 cents is roughly 10%, and we're moving about that 30 cents actually. So that's a relatively safer 10% swing, maybe. But again, it's not a lot of juice, so you might want to come. But again, what am I ultimately looking for if I was going to like trade this thing? Look, that's the money line right there. And I got to believe I've said this in the last couple videos. You break this candle. I'm actually going to draw it because pretty soon we're going to lose that 200 down. If 333 breaks, that's a good trade right there for sure, right? I don't think this little bad boy by itself is going to stop it. I think maybe this guy up here, but yeah, I still like this line a lot. But there's I don't know, there's a lot of noise for me, and I'd much rather, and I always love trading above moving averages than I do below. All that said, on the flip side of up is down. And if this 261, which look, we didn't beat today, we landed there, and I've always said landing on it doesn't mean you beat it, right? I get that we broke the 8. That's not a confirmation candle. That's a little closer to a doji for me than it is a confirmation candle. I would say the wicks are almost perfectly even. Yeah, it's not as middle of a body, but yeah, right in the middle, right? So for me, I'm still not a believer that we've broken the 8. Like I said, I'm really not a believer in that weekly number that I gave right here, this one. I don't know if we're breaking 288. I really don't. Because again, just look at this thing. What it's really been doing is trading well under the 8 on the weekly. Maybe a little touch of the 20 here and there. That's why I'm like, all right, let's talk about the 333 if it goes up, right? But yeah, I'm still at a point where in my head this is all saying all-time lows more than it's saying I'm going to break the 200 moving average, the very last one, and start trading up, right? Again, I might be completely wrong. Throw it in the comments if you disagree. Help change my mind. But I'm actually disregarding this volume pump right here. I am. I do like this RSI. You know I do actually. And I think it looks like the MACD's kind of peaking. But I always say 80% of the work is up here. And right now, I think breaking the 20 is the like bare minimum I would accept from this thing before I'll say, okay, let's talk about taking my hard-earned money. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think that's a pretty good view of the daily and the weekly here. Again, hopefully we can go up 2 moving averages on the weekly. I don't think much more. The very worst thing we're going to do is lose 261 and go down, right? Okay, ACB. Okay, interesting. We're on the daily here, right? And look, I regularly say that ACB generally lags when it comes to the up, but it's always ready to go down on time and as ready with the, you know what I mean? So there's a couple stocks I do my best to not be like a dick on and try to be a little unbiased, right? But yeah, ACB has a little special place in my heart, and sadly it's not a good one, I'll be honest, right? And where Tilray was at least able to break the 8 and stay over it, this guy actually hasn't. But this guy kind of did the same thing. It did a real big candle and kind of an insignificant second day. I believe this is what Tilray really should be doing. I just think Tilray is and look, when I say Tilray is number 1, do I know if their product is better than anyone else's? Do I know if their operation model is better than anyone else's? I don't know any of that. I just know Tilray ran to 200 one day for no reason. And that alone, the fact that it has the highest all-time high, the fact that like if it breaks the like silliest of silliest lines, makes Tilly the best. Yeah, that's why it is, right? There is no fundamental reason I call Tilray the best other than the chart, for real, okay? But ACB, again, I don't think this one's the best at all. I actually think this one's kind of lower than the best. And I actually don't know why I have this one second with Tilray. For a while, I actually thought Tilray had bought this company and like there was a merger eventually going to happen, but I got corrected a long time ago. But I'm telling you, this is what I think this really should have looked like. I think this candle didn't deserve to break the 8. I think that is a doji, like I just said. And yeah, that's really why I don't think we're going to get to this 333. Maybe we'll hit the 288, right? Maybe Tilly has the name recognition to like do it. But yeah, I think ACB says the truth. And I think if ACB was to start making a better turnaround, yeah, maybe I'd be like, oh, something might be happening in the weed sector. Again, that is purely opinion right there. There's no fact or proof behind what I just said, but I really like taking cues from other stocks. That's why I do these sector reviews. The like recent runner thing that I've been starting to do really is views and subscriptions. I can't believe how many people watch these. But these sector reviews, like this is the fundamental of how I trade. I look at like 5 or 6 in the same field. I try to take bits and pieces of them, and then yeah, hopefully I'm picking the 1 or 2 that are the best, right? Or the 3 or 4 other ones are saying, hey, just stay away from all of them because those 2 that are peaking out, I think they might be fake. So again, all that is just kind of more personal strategy, personal opinion, no facts at all, right? Just what I think. But yeah, this story I think says the truth. I really do. And hey, I might be completely wrong. I might be, right? And look, I think this right here is also a much more telling weekly story. Very ugly candle that screams we're going away from the 8 moving average and we're going deeper in all-time lows. This doji on the weekly actually kind of says, you know what? Let's see next week. Because maybe we'll come up to here. To like 80. Maybe we'll try to take 50% candle, right? Maybe we'll come all the way up to the next green one, which is this 90 line, right? Like this doji, look, it's definitely below the line. Like it lost the candle, right? It couldn't close up here. That would have been a nicer doji. But let's see what next week looks like. And I think that's also what you basically got from me on Tilray. Let's see what next week looks like. And don't let a good Monday or Tuesday up fool you from what Friday might end up closing at. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go back to the Tilly weekly. Yeah, this one actually came up to 50% candle. Look at that bad boy, right? I don't know if I mentioned it. Did I talk about the weekly on Tilly? I'm not even sure. I don't think so. I think all we really talked about was these. But yeah, 50% candle happened here. ACB, let's see if you'll do it. Will you actually, I'm not going to draw a resist. There's no reason to do it. But 80 cents, let's see if 50% candle happens next week or this goes down and probably the rest do too. So, hey, I sincerely appreciate your time so much. Let me know what your opinions are. If you agree, disagree. Otherwise, thank you.